All right, so the first tool or tools is anything for SEO. So obviously we all know how important that is. Um, both these tools will show you, most importantly, inbound links. So it's a really simple way to see how many links you have. So it's kind of like a vanity. On some level, it's a vanity metric, but I think we all can agree that it's the number of inbound links you have is correlated with traffic. If you have 10 inbound links, you probably have no one fucking coming to your site. If you have 10,000, you have a ton of people coming to your site. Every link is a road to your site. I'll try not to get too beginner-ish, but so let me show you the tools. So first one is it's Majestic SEO. So it's really simple. All it is just enter the domain. So since Sean has more links than me, we'll use his. So all you do is just drop it in and press explore. That's it. You can create an account and everything. I would use the full URL, and so there it is. So 70. Sean has 70 backlinks right now. So then you can see, what the page title is, etc. So the way I'll use this is I'll go, and if you log in, which I can do, it doesn't really matter, but I guess I'll log in. If you log in, you create an account. It's free to create an account, and you can get more detailed information.
I'm sorry, the password is public access?
Yeah, should be.
All lowercase.
We'll try capital P, and then instead of an A, it's the @ sign, and the last two S's are dollar signs.
Yeah.
It's a pain in the ass. It took me like 8 times.
Thank you.
So you can click on now I logged in, so it's going to give me where the backlinks are coming from, referring domains, top pages. So it's a pretty good free tool. So that's one way to just check your backlinks. That's one of those things where it's like if you don't have 100 backlinks to your site, I mean, you need to work on that. You just need to get 100 backlinks. I know it sounds like a vanity metric, but it is important. So and there's an SEO Moz product. It's called Open Site Explorer. The same basic premise. You just can track your backlinks so you know how things are going. Now this is definitely a better product. You can only do 3 searches a day. So it is limited to the searches, and this is also a lead gen for them. You can see that, and the numbers are different. So don't ask me why the numbers are different. I don't know, but you can see that if you upgrade this, you can see the shares, the Facebook likes, the Google pluses, etc. So here's a more complete look at Sean's backlinks. So this says he has 600, 600. So I'm not sure.
I think, wasn't there some with the trailing slash, or it treated it differently?
Yeah, that was the other one. We can try that though. No. So, all right. So that's our first tactical tip is how to figure out how many backlinks you have to your site.
Cool.
Yep.
Does it rank those links? I'm looking at page authority and whatnot.
I mean, I think part of it is both. Yeah, I mean, so on some level they're ranking them just because they have page authority and domain authority. But I think the Majestic SEO one is pretty ghetto, and this one's better. And I think that if you paid, you could get really deep with this. You could figure out every aspect of the link. I think the way it stands now, it's plus you can only do 3. So. I don't know if I answered your question. I don't think it really. Do you know?
All right, so I'm going to show you. To me, this is a technique that I actually kind of just developed back in 2008, and it's still valid today. And I think it could be really valid for you actually. So we'll just use your site as an example. But if the goal, to me, a big problem in early startups is how do you get those first visitors for your beta program? It's hard to start learning until you have people in the beta. And yet, how do you attract people to a beta when you're just small and you don't have that much going on? So what we did, at least at Jumpbox, was to this trick on Twitter and Twitter was pretty young at the time. Let's see. So I'm logged in as me. Let's just search. Nick, I'm gonna search for something. What you have to do is think what you have, think what problem you think it's solving for people, and then what might those folks be searching for that would allow you to identify them on Twitter. And so in this case, I could foresee someone being like, selling my information. Think of like a phrase that someone might tweet out.
I don't know who would say, hey, I'm
Maybe.
selling my information.
Yeah, or someone, but you're looking for someone who's pissed off. He's like, I can't believe this company sold my information.
Yeah.
So, point being, I'll do one that I know is going to work just because I checked earlier. Like, that was in our case for Jumpbox. We did it around, we packaged 60 different open source applications. And one of the problems we solved was a lot of people were frustrated at setting these things up. And so I thought, okay, so what would these people be saying? So, guaranteed right now, if we go WordPress install problem, someone's complaining about this. Okay, there's only 2 right now. Drupal, there's your problem. Maybe you can install WordPress first. Okay, so someone had a problem with Drupal and WordPress. We packaged both of them. So I would respond to this guy right now and say, hey, by the way, notice you're having a problem. You should check this out. This is free. And by the way, we also have this other service. But something to that effect where meet them on their turf. They've expressed a need. This is like they're literally, how old is this? This is probably like, so it's probably within the last day or two, this guy has expressed this pain. So meet them on their turf. It's like this real-time source of leads of people like expressing pain points that you can reach out to and just introduce them at that point to your solution. And so I think, Nick, in your situation, I think you could just like cast a net. Oh, and then so that's how you do it the manual way. But the real technique, and if you're interested, you can read. I blogged it back in the day. You can go find the write-up here. I'll just give you the.
You do it with Hootsuite?
You can do it with Hootsuite. I did it with RSS. I actually found it easier there. And Twitter now hides the RSS searches, but they're still there, and I'll show you. But if you just look, like, search my blog for Twitter leads, and it's the only one that comes up, I think. Yeah. So this actually like details the technique of what you have to do to set it up. But I'll just show you like the essence of it. If you're using Hootsuite, we can do it that way. So here's something we troll for on Shortsalepedia to find really good agents. We troll for the term short sale and then combined with success. So agents like to brag, oh, I just had a successful close. Well, those are people we want in our network. We don't want the rest of them, right? So
show them how to set that part up.
yeah. So let's just add a new stream.
One thing you can do with this is you should be tracking your brand with Hootsuite on Twitter. So regardless of like leads, and I kind of have my own opinion about that, but you should have your brand on there. So and 2 different things. One would be use the mention, as well as the non-mention. So meaning have your brand. So mine's Business Pirate. I would search. I'd have @Business Pirate would be one search term. The other would be Business Pirate without the @ one word, and then I'd also have Business Pirate in quotations as the phrase. So no matter what someone says about my brand, if they put the mention, they don't put the mention, they do 1 word, 2 words, whatever it is, I'm tracking that. And so that's just an important thing to do.
Yeah, and so here I just put in short sale, woohoo, and you can see 2 results came up. And so these are people that we want to reach out to. And you should absolutely try to think. The key to this whole technique is in thinking. It's that bridge building to how do you get to those people who are having problems who you could potentially help. And you just have to be creative about what they might be searching for and then just go meet them on their turf. And if you don't use Hootsuite, the other way to do this, and I'll let you kind of read this post if you really want to, but go find the RSS, do a search on Twitter, and then just get the RSS feed of that, and then just track that in a reader. And you can very quickly scan through RSS feeds and just reply to the ones where you think you can help. And I found that to be a lot quicker, actually. And they also, once you read them, then they're gone, whereas in Hootsuite, they pile up, and you can't really like delete them. Sure. So.
All right, so this one is canned responses for Gmail. So it's a lab you can enable that basically allows you to drop in templates into your email. So if you're doing any outbound sales, you name it, any repetitive emails, customer service emails, it's pretty ridiculous. So here's one I have for like a giveaway or a blog post. I have all these situations where I could potentially use this. So let's say I want to try to land a guest post. I just drop it in right there, and it's just ready to go. So then I kind of have these. So some of the nuances to this, it will not save the subject. So I will paste the subject down in the body. So I'm just kind of come in here and drop it up. I kind of have fields for the name. I'll just break down the email right now. I did a lot of email sales at AppSumo, so I think I'm pretty good at email sales. So first line is I'm complimenting them. Second line is
Did you say you write the email copy for it?
no, I worked at AppSumo for about a year and did all the sales for about 150 deals. So I did a lot of fucking emails.
Me a few times.
There you go. I didn't write the copy, so I'm not that good. I wrote the sales emails. So second part is love XYZ about your site, your company, something specific that I actually said that I looked at their site, I know something about them, and I did like a smiley face. It's up to you if you want to use that type of gayness.
It works.
It does work. So then
More personalized.
I wrote this blog post exclusively for you. I'll drop in the link, probably like a bit.ly link. And then date +3 is just I say whatever today's date is, and I add 3 days. So I basically do a call to action at the end of the email and say, email me in 3 days. Like if you're interested, email me. If you don't you don't email me in 3 days, I'm gonna basically pitch this offer to someone else. And then what you want to do is you want to pull up the signature. If you have the signature, this huge space like that, it looks like spam. Looks like you had either spammed, or it looks like you didn't take the time, or you did a template. So that's really the way it should look. We obviously filling in all the fields. So the way you set that up, has anyone used this tool, or people use this tool? Okay, so some people do. So the way you set it up is you go up to Mail Settings, and you go over to Labs. So if you haven't looked at Labs, I would really highly recommend it. A few labs that I use. So this first one is App Search. If you enable that, you can search your Google Docs and your email through the Gmail search. So you don't have to open up Google Docs, search around. You have it right there, and then you just go enable canned responses, which is the second one. So as far as creating them, you would create. So there's lots of nuances with this. First thing you do is you erase the signature, because when you press insert or you drop that in, it's going to drop in that signature as well. So you want to erase that when you're creating a new one. Type out whatever you want to create. Then go to canned response and go to new canned response right there. And then you type in the name you want. So then when I go to create my new email, what just happened? So I go to create my new email, just click down in here, and then my TT one I just made is there. So if you do repetitive emails, this tool will save you tons of time. So
Reused response.
Right. So in the interest of making this a true dance-off, I'm just going to throw in one to try and dance back, which is an OS level equivalent that I use. And so I use various canned responses for things. I mostly use the one for our conference dial-in number. And so you can do this at the level of Mac OS. You can go like just pre-configure. So if I go dial-in number, it'll rewrite that to a little slug of text. And I used to use this extensively at Jumpbox, but it's called Typinator. It's a little app. It's like $30, I think. But it's great because you can configure these huge responses, same thing, and yeah, driving directions, addresses, all of that.
To Gmail within the app.
What's that?
As an interface to Gmail plugin within the app. 'Cause it looks like you're
Oh, no, it's just text.
Some of the questions I have sound stupid because my own industry space is very different.
Sure. Well, here. So it's actually doing it. I'll just show you. It's doing it at the level of the OS. So you can do it in a Gmail, but you can also do it, here.
Okay, I see. It's like you have a Mac.
Yeah. So, anyways, but yeah, same thing. It's super useful to have canned stuff set up
Yeah.
ahead of time and not waste your
That's
time.
cool. That's a cool one.
There's
Yeah.
something like that for
Mine's free though.
Yeah.
I just do a word false off in the shop.
Damn it.
All right, hold on. Let me show you the one that was in there.
Broke startups. I need free shit. Pay for it.
All right, so this one is a technique that we used on a music thing that I was involved with, and the essence of this one is very much like lean startup principles, but validate, don't build stuff, test, figure out what you need to build before you build it. And this was such a cool tool. I used it at Junkbox, Scratch Audio, and I'm using it now with Shorttailpedia. It's just super useful. But basically, the essence of this, I'll just show you like what the experiment looks like. It's called Optimizely, and it's A/B testing as a service. And so you install this little snippet of JavaScript, and then it allows you to very quickly change things on your site and test multiple versions and serve a different version of your site to different audiences. So
why is this better than Google Optimizer?
because you actually use it. Like I used Google Web Optimizer back in the day, and it was really powerful. It can do like multivariate. This can do multivariate now. But Google Web Optimizer, you actually have to go change the code on the page, or at least you used to be able to change experiments. Whereas this, you only ever install one piece of JavaScript in your header, and you can run things site-wide or on a page, and it's also, they've got like a visual editor. It's just way better. So here, I'm just going to show you, these are some of the experiments that I've run in the past, but just dial in on this one, and you can see what it looked like. Let's see, cancel results. All right, so this is actually, Vlaskovitz was one of the guys who authored the Lean CusDev book, and he took a look at Scratch Audio, and he's like, oh, you should try changing this on the pricing page. So literally while we're sitting there, I made a change. I want to pull it up first so you can see what
And
it
when you
is.
say you made a change, you did it and optimized it.
Yeah, it's visual, so you can. So we were testing at the time. In this experiment, we were testing like this kind of 37 signal style, like that presentation of the pricing plans, which by the way didn't exist yet. We weren't charging, but we presented plans and we had people click through just to try to figure out what they wanted. And so we were also testing that versus like a matrix feature set comparison style. And he's like, oh, just flip the dollar, put the most expensive one first, and see how that happens. So it was literally a matter of doing this, like move these things around.
Now, is the widgets like the hobbyists?
Those were graphics that we cut up. Yeah,
Those are graphics you cut up.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah. But let me show you what's interesting. So this was the experiment. So let me show you. Let's go to the data. All right, so here's the data set. Just ignore this engagement one because that doesn't really tell us anything. But look at down here under the paid and free and see what I make of this. So the matrix version scared people, like not as many people chose a plan at all, but it certainly steered more people to a paid plan. This one with the expensive one first just freaked people out. They abandoned it. But this definitely had an impact here. And overall, I mean, we needed to collect more data. I don't think this is statistically significant. But I mean, that spread, we had 12 people versus 4 versus 5. Like, there's definitely something going on here in terms of that. So,
You get your traffic from the same source.
yeah, we didn't change anything else. This is all, and it's randomizing it like round robin or whatever you call it. So it's new
So you
people
didn't,
just.
like, buy ads or anything, right?
No, this is organic traffic. So, but I don't know. So the point being here, like Optimizely is a super cool tool for being able to change stuff. And again, I'm not a developer, and it's so neat right now on Shorttailpedia for me not have to dig into CSS to figure out how to move something or change the size of it. It's so great to be able to go in here and just say shrink, move. You know, that's the way it should be.
Developers hate that too. I can't stand
Yeah.
So how are you putting that stuff in there? So it's just images you talk about. You just like
I'll
upload
show you.
images and then it's like, put them wherever you want.
Yeah. So here, I'm not going to change it, but here, let's just pretend like we're going to change something on Shortailpedia right now. So we were testing the headline recently, which led to doing like an email capture thing there. And it was all implemented in Optimizely. Like we added the form fields and everything via this tool.
So how would Optimizely compare to Unbounce?
So Optimizely, and this is going to be screwed up now because we have a different version of the page. This is based on a different version. So at this point, it's all whacked. But basically, you could go in and change this headline and sub out something else and whatever. But how it's different, so think of Unbounce, if you guys know that. That's like landing pages as a service. This is like A/B testing as a service, and there is some overlap. Because typically on a landing page, you're going to test multiple messages, but this lets you do it on your site anywhere, site-wide. And you can do tests across pages. I could change, for instance, like I want the navigation up here to be different across the whole site. It'll support that. And cascading stuff. So you could change the navigation across the site, but then you could also change something on a specific page, and it'll all figure it out.
And that's just a little bit of JavaScript. The same on every page, or do you need to like set up?
Yeah.
A little
So
bit goes here, a little bit goes there.
No. Here, this is what's so cool about it is view source. This is it. Optimize. I think that's the only thing on here. Yeah. Oh. Yeah. So it'll rewrite the page. This is actually just because we've been lazy. The image still resides on Optimizely. We just haven't moved it to the WordPress site. But yeah, so it's just that one line of JavaScript at the top, and then you never have to touch the code again on the site. That's what's great about it. Cool. Dance back, biatch.
All right, so the Chrome store, we kind of briefly talked about it. So I'll show you a few. So basically right here is, and this is one of those things where it's so in your face, but you're just not really looking at it. This is the Chrome store right here. So anytime you open up a new tab, this is the Chrome store. So really, I mean, Sean's doesn't have this thing pimped out the way he could. So you can just, the way I look at it is like an interface for your web browsing. So here's the store. So there's no reason to not have the sites you go to the most often right here. Why would you have it up here? I have Gmail, all these different ones. So I'll show you a few of the ones I like. So there's the Gmail checker. So you can add this Gmail checker thing right here. And then it pops up right into your browser. So just right there. So every time you get an email, it spins around. You can click on it; it'll go right to Gmail. So yeah, I mean, is it going to change your life? No, but it's pretty convenient. So that's one. Why keep doing that?
There's a good one too that pops it up like the Outlook emails. So you get like
So
a little
I actually,
preview of them.
do you guys like that? I have to shut my mail plane off because I get so little ding ding and like distraction by all that.
I like that. Because a lot, if I'm looking, especially if there's something, I feel like what slows me down the most is I'm on a roll, did this, zing, sent it off to that person. Now I'm waiting. All right, well now I'll do this other thing. When what I really need to be doing is dealing with that, so that as soon as that person finally gets back to me, I can just throw off whatever I decided to do in between, and just jump right back into it. But it's all personal preference.
But if you have the tab open, there's a Google Lab thing that also will pop it up, like a ground notification in the top right. So you can see that there's another lab setting that'll adjust the icon in the tab to show you the number of unread.
Oh, that I think might have come in an update. Mine does that.
Yeah.
Already.
Okay, so this other extension is the SEO for Chrome. So I'm going to actually add this one so you can see it work. So these are super easy to install. So the reason I like this is because although compete data is pretty shitty, I think it's still helpful. So for me, if I'm looking at a guest blog post opportunity. I'll probably just for fun, I'll take the 5 guest posts I'm looking at and I'll rank them as far as compete data, just so when I do reach out to them, I'm like have a priority list. So I'm not just hitting up a guy who has 100 hits. That's not gonna do anything for me. So it's really simple. You just click this right here, and it drops down. It's kind of like the one Sean had, but it has compete, compete visits, and it has all other types of stuff. So it actually does say backlinks. It has Google likes. I mean, some of this, like I said, some of this data is totally wrong. But I think it's super easy. I mean, literally for AppSumo, I would have to go and every time I was hitting up someone for an opportunity, I would have to track their compete number just so I could say, this blog has 10,000 monthly people. Easy. We will get some serious traffic from this. I have to grab that URL, go to compete, type it in. When I found this tool, it saved me so much time. So it's just really one click, and it's just data on the site. Is it perfect data? No, but I think it's pretty helpful. Let's see, there's a few more. So this is one of those things too. It's just like you can have all the other normal apps on here too. So there's really no reason to not have YouTube added or things like that. I mean, if you I use YouTube a lot for our marketing, and so I just you just add it.
And these don't slow anything down at all.
No, and if you guys don't use Chrome, I mean, I definitely suggest switching. The two things I think that are awesome about Chrome, I mean, shortcuts. We should all be using shortcuts for everything. You really should be touching the mouse. And then I like the Chrome Web Store. So then it just pops right here. So there's no reason to have all your sites that you use. If you Facebook, Twitter, Hootsuite, they all have apps. Now there's one I wanted to show you. That's
All right, so I guess here's where I would say again I disagree. Like to me, there's value in a blank page, and I love opening my web browser and having it be a blank page and not go to like Yahoo or apps or anything else. But that's just me.
So like I said, there's just tons of, I mean, you name it, they have a tool for it on here. There's one I want to do that was good because it was a picture one.
Can I mention one I really like?
Sure, please
Called
do.
Awesome screenshot capture.
Oh yeah, that's right. That's the one I was looking
So
for.
it's a little lens that you see up there.
Yep.
It's a screen.
That's the exact one I was
Capture
looking
the entire
for.
page. So if you're working with somebody else, you can then draw on it and say, fix this, do whatever. It's a great, super useful tool.
Yeah, thanks for saying that. That's what I was looking for. So yeah, I'll just show it in action. So with this tool, you just click right here. You can do entire page, selected area, entire page.
Oh, interesting. Visible or entire.
What's going on?
So we just scrolled down the whole thing and
Okay.
captured the whole thing.
All right. So then now here's my here's this. So I can just type on it. And do arrows, all this stuff. Just kind of show you right now. Though.
So you can take stuff from other sites, copy and paste them. I have seen those.
Into your own
site, right?
So-
like your own picture.
So now this is the final stage. It's scrolling so slow. It's unbelievable right now. But so this will give me a link, just like your tool. This will give me a link, so I can save it temporarily with that link. And I think it lasts for a few days, or you can save it permanently on this site. So I say I want a temporary thing, save it. So I mean, if you guys use like a Get Cloud app or any of those tools, it's kind of like that, but you can write on it. So if I send that link off to someone, that's what they get.
They get that smaller version to the left there.
Yep, and they can click on it and blow
And
it up.
expands to like
Hmm.
normal size. Oh yeah,
Cool.
That's pretty awesome.
So, all right.
I'll just actually this.
Table capture.
Yeah, this is so easy to show that I'll just do it. It's really not like a
So I use Envision app.
yeah.
So I'm familiar about something. Envision app is that desktop web app?
It's a web app for like doing clickable prototypes. So in the same way that this lets you share a screenshot really easy and mark it up, Envision app lets you do a whole clickable prototype and then collect feedback on it. And I'll just show you real quick. But this table capture Chrome extension, I don't know if you guys have this issue, but when you try to go to a web page, like let's say tabular data, getting it into a spreadsheet, it just munges it up. So let's just search for like population by state, because I know that there's a table. So if we wanted to get this table into a spreadsheet, ordinarily we just like select it, grab the rows we want, and try to paste it into, I use numbers, same thing with Excel though. That's what you get. So it munges it into one column, which is completely useless. So let's delete that. You get just on the Chrome Web Store, Google or just search for table capture, and then it will give you this little red icon if there's a table on that web page, and then it finds all the tables. You just hover over and it takes you to the table. So we want to grab the big one. You can either have it generate a Google Doc out of that. I'm going to copy it to the clipboard, and then we go back here into numbers, and it actually does something useful. It'll paste it in. So
It's pretty awesome.
yeah, it's like that feature alone. I can't tell you how many times had it been more convenient, I would have asked a question of the data, but it wasn't important enough where I'm going to spend all the time to figure it out. So I just, and this,
It's always embedded on the page, though.
I did, yeah, I wrote a blog post that said that very same thing. Yeah, yeah. And so there's a Firefox extension you could create or a Chrome Web Store extension, but so that's that. And then the last one I'll show is Balsamiq and Envision app. Does everyone know what Balsamiq is, or does anyone want to see that? You guys know what it is?
I do not.
I'll just bring it up real quick then. It's basically it's a prototype, or it's a way to do mock-ups, and this is a paid app. I think it's like $80 Mac, or it's an Adobe Air app.
Or you can use it free on their site.
Yeah, I think that's
Yeah, that's what I did for a long time.
there you go. So I bought it way back in the day, but you can, yeah, I think they made it so like like you're saying. It's just an easy way to throw together stuff and test interfaces and like build little stuff without actually building anything, basically.
Use something called Lucid Chart.
Yeah, that one's very cool.
Yeah, I mean, it's like I just had this conversation with somebody else who's using this, and he looked at that and he's like, "Yeah, that thing's way more than I need right now." And this is more like really early stage, working it out.
Yeah,
Lucid Chart's really detailed. I mean, you can
Lucid Chart's awesome. Having used both, I can tell you basically when to use which. Lucid Chart is good for collaboration. You can actually have multiple people working on the mockup together. It's not a desktop app, so it's a little bit annoying that it's pretty good for a web app. So it's pretty amazing what you can do in a web app now, but it's not the same speed. Like you can throw a Balsamiq page together in like 30 seconds, and not so in Envision app. But so this is like the creation of the mocks, and you could whip up a bunch of these and basically make a whole interface, and then you use something just to show you what Envision app looks like. So you'd give someone, this is like the link. I've already made the project and stitched it together and highlighted the hotspots and all that. It's a really good interface. But then you get this, and so like what we were trying to determine, this was when we were crafting the new admin for all of our people in different cities who throw events. We wanted to like give them a nice nifty interface to control stuff, and so this was what we showed them, and we talk them through it and say, hey, does this make sense? And then what's cool about this is you can actually get, if you turn comments on, then people can go in here and write this up and like leave a comment here and say, no, this button makes no sense, and collect feedback over multiple people. So you end up with a bunch of like sticky notes pasted in places, and if there's one area that has a bunch of sticky notes, then it's probably problematic.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
You built it in that, or you built it with Balsamiq and exported it to that?
Built it in Balsamiq, just images, so then you end up with a bunch of JPEGs or PNGs or whatever.
Okay.
And then you go into here, and I'll show you what Envision app looks like, but their interface is so well done.
Is it free?
It is not, but it's super cheap. It's $8 a month for
$8
the.
a month.
Yeah.
Okay. Well worth it.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's awesome. There's
Oh,
a
yeah.
magic $10 anything like that. I'm like, yeah.
Oh yeah, no brainer. I mean, the time we saved, like, I mean, who are we kidding? Like, to be to be able to not code something, like, it took all of an hour to put this, together, and then
So you build it in Balsamic, you screenshot everything,
Yeah.
and you stick it up in there.
yeah, you end up with a bunch of images. Then they make it drag all the images, just literally drag them into the browser.
Right.
It figures it out. Then you go through, and then you have to take a little time. Like, this hotspot goes to this image, right? But they have a really nifty way that common hotspots, like top level navigation, you do it once, and then you say apply to all,
Okay.
and it's really slick. It's
Envision app doesn't let you create your user.
Yeah, I think
no,
that's
this
what I
is
was saying.
strictly like wiring up a bunch of images as a prototype. So Balsamic handles the creation of the screens. This is just really like clickable
So, I mean,
prototype.
in theory, you could do this with like Keynote.
Yes. Yeah. But this is more what makes this cool is the feedback collection and the just sending people a link, and it's all web based and
Well,
We've been using Axure, AXURE. Our fee is like $700, and it doesn't have a good feedback. It's
Yeah.
great for building prototypes.
yeah.
I ship it out to the developer, but it's not good for feedback.
Exactly that. But I would also add that I would never send someone this over email with no like management or expectation. But it's pretty cool. I'm obviously a fan.
yeah, and whatever tool you use, whether that's InVision app or Lucidchart. The lesson, though, I think is the best code is the code you never have to write. And if you can learn something by using this prototype and then avoid going down a path that was a ill-conceived path, that's a win.
Yep.
That's all I got.
I don't know if mine are very good. The last two.
So yeah, my last one, it's pretty straightforward. It's not even really I wouldn't say it's a tech. I mean, basically, it's just what I experienced this week with this marketing, using basically SlideShare and YouTube. So my recommendation, it's not really that tactical. Well, I mean, it's tactical, but it's not like a trick. Would be to obviously claim your YouTube channel if you haven't done so already. Claim your SlideShare handle if you have not done so already. And one thing I would do, this is something that I recently did. I basically made a list of all the networks because I was in customer development trying to figure out my brand, figure out what I was doing. Once I said this is what we're doing, I made a list of all the fucking social media profiles that are out there. So YouTube, Tumblr, SlideShare, LinkedIn, you name it. And I went out and made sure I got all those. So I have my LinkedIn page. That has SEO juice. You need to have that set up. So that's kind of part of this is going out there, number one. Once you've committed to a brand, you better go out and own that. Because if you don't own that, someone else will. So go own those. And then basically, when you start to create these YouTube videos, which I think is a great channel, use SlideShare to double the content. So go ahead, create a presentation in Keynote. You can record it. You can then post it up on YouTube. You have a presentation. You did a nice little presentation about your business, about generating leads. Go ahead then, take that presentation, upload it on SlideShare. So repurposing content, that's one thing we talked about last time. And when we're all bootstrapped and don't have a lot of time, you need to figure out ways to come up with a home run topic. Like, one thing I do is I always do like my online marketing schedule. I have this schedule that on Mondays you post a YouTube channel, a video. On Tuesdays you do a guest post. That's like one of my big ideas that I use. I use that over and over again, all my shit. And so I'll use that for a presentation, a YouTube video. We're recording this right now. I'm gonna put it on YouTube. I'm gonna take this slide presentation, put it on SlideShare. So don't waste an opportunity to use this content. If you go out and you present a talk, take that slide, take that thing, put it up on SlideShare, record the talk, throw it on your YouTube channel. Don't waste these opportunities. I think we should record as much of this as we can and post this content up there because this is valuable stuff and we want to reuse it. So that's kind of basically, and like I said, I was on the front page of SlideShare for a whole day. Over 1,000 people viewed our presentation, followers, the whole nine. So it was a pretty good, low-cost marketing thing, good for brand and all that. So.
And you said that slide.
All right, so I'll just show you the last thing that I was going to show, which is this concept of like testing niche, and I'll just show you how we did it with Scratch Audio. So does anyone currently use AdWords for their stuff? How many ads or keywords and stuff are you running right now?
We've got a ton of keywords. I don't know how many ads. We've got different ad groups and 8, 10 ads per ad group.
Okay. I don't know what's going on here. There we go. So if you do AdWords, this tool is super useful. It's the offline AdWords editor, and they make it for both platforms. But we couldn't have managed as many. Like for Jumpbox, I think at our high point we had 7,000 keywords that we were tracking, and to do that via the web interface is just a nightmare.
Yes.
So this is I've got this. You can what's cool about it too is you can have multiple accounts. That's super easy to flip back and forth. My computer's freaking out for some reason. So you can flip back and forth very easily between accounts, which is nice. But here is Scratch Audio, and what we were doing on this one, we had just a tool. We had like a piece of technology, kind of the same way you have this drawing app, and we're trying to figure out, okay, who's going to really use this? There's so many ways this could go. There's like jingle writers and voiceover people and all these different uses that we can see for this thing. So we just started running ads and throwing them to different landing pages and testing the rates basically, and we discovered these little clusters, or at least we tested what we thought were the clusters, and I'll just show you some of the ads. But we had this idea that maybe bands want to record remotely. I know David had a friend that was for a while working on this remote jamming thing that allowed like the same latency of being in a room together. Like we had the idea that hey, maybe bands are spread geographically, they still want to make music together, so tested ads around that and just kind of learned that they didn't want to pay for it. Like they're happy with emailing GarageBand files back and forth. This is like the latest iteration. We're testing this idea of like extending remix capabilities to fans. So we're not even selling to musicians anymore. We're enabling them to engage their fans differently and allow them to make personalized music. Online IDE, like testing the concepts around actual like Pro Tools and tools that people already know, and then just running AdWords to discover if they'd want an online version of that.
So is this like, I know for us, like we had this huge library of all these videos, and what we want to do is we want to then transcribe the videos, write the 500-word piece. So we have all these AdWords and keywords that we're tracking. So this is like a really simple way, instead of going to the keyword tool and re-entering all your keywords that you're doing.
Yeah.
And filtering all this.
Yeah,
stuff.
if you want to
plug and play, it's like keep it set up.
Yeah, if you want to clone all the keywords from this campaign, this is how easy it is. Drag. I'm not going to do it, but drag it where you want it. Whereas there's no other way to do this. Like really, if you don't have this tool and you're doing a bunch of keyword stuff, you're crazy.
Is this an official Google?
It is. Yeah.
Was it AdWords editor? Is that
I think it's called If you Google AdWords editor, you'll find it.
So one tip on any of this stuff is you want to make sure that the match type needs to be exact, right?
Well, it depends.
Well, that's what I've always heard, that if you're using any other match type other than exact, you're getting severely inflated numbers. Because that's not the exact thing they're typing something maybe similar.
Well, it depends. There's like broad, phrase, and exact, and there's different reasons why you might. Like the bigger thing I think is negative keywords. Like people should be making use of negative keywords, because think of that like just like the person who comes to your party and doesn't pay but eats all your food. It's like a big drain on. I don't know. It's a terrible analogy, but it's something that it's sucking resources without any return. So you want to identify those things that are just never going to convert, and then do negative keywords for them, and that's the big win.
You said you worked at Google, right? Yes. So what's the answer? Is it you should be using exact or do you have it? Right?
I don't know.
Okay.
you worked at Google, you're supposed to know.
Well, no, this is what it is. Exact is going to force it to only get that phrase and only that phrase.
Right? I mean, most of the
Maybe.
time.
Well, so in our case, like I don't want to do 1,000 permutations of short sale, whatever else it could be. So I'm fine to do like that term in quotes and phrase match. Like I don't care the combination and how people type it in. Like we're happy right now to leave it wide open.
That's what we do too, is phrase, because then we and we end up getting a lot that we didn't think about, but then we can kind of like adjust to
You watch the
what's
search.
working. And then we can get rid of some stuff, add new stuff, or that worked pretty well. Oh.
Yeah, something that doesn't show in this tool that does show in the web tool is there's like a thing here that will say show search terms, and then so that's how you find the ones that you hadn't even anticipated. You can show those, and then very easily add those into your, and you build this keyword list, and then you prune it back on the ones that aren't working based on the conversion rates, and it's the whole science to it. Yeah.
It's a crazy science because there's so much that you just don't know unless you go and find out. But you don't know to go find out until you realize you have a problem, and then you dig to the bottom and find the solution is this.
Yeah.
Well, then you have to go find that. AdWords is crazy powerful and amazing, but it's also
And it's not like there's experts who do this for a living. So my take on it is like I shouldn't be doing something where there's clearly people that are more well qualified for it. But using it like once it's already known and what you're doing and you're just dialing it in, hand it to those people. But this is like a fishing expedition for what are we really trying to do and what are the are there clusters that we can go after and 2 or 3 that might work, or are we wasting our time to just go after one?
And that's what I'm going to do. I mean,
The whole notion though that really Eric Ries is big on the idea of like make a hypothesis and make sure you go in with a hypothesis. Going in just being like, oh, I'm going to learn, that's the wrong attitude. You should go in at least saying, okay, I'm thinking that there's clusters around here. How can I prove or disprove that that's right? And because then there's going to be an answer. Failing to do that, then there's never an answer. You're like, oh, I think I understand it, but you know.
Fiverr.com. Fiverr. Go to social media. Once you pull it up,
Yeah.
There's an E.
Oh, is it? FIV.
This is basically streamlined outsourcing at its finest. So go to like social media or social marketing.
Is that okay?
So you can get all types of crazy stuff done for $5. All different types of tasks. You can post tasks.
I did it this week. He convinced me. I did the Twitter and Facebook one. And
Yeah, I mean, so social proof. You launch your site, you have 10 fans. No, everyone's gonna come to your site and go, God, this thing sucks. It has 10 fucking fans. There's no way I'm using it. So I know it's a little ghetto, whatever. We went and bought fans. For $5, you can get thousands of Twitter followers, thousands of Facebook fans. For $5.
I will give you 1,000 real Twitter followers for $5.
Yeah.
For real. And
So a lot of them. Okay, here's my take on
They're
it. Having done
spammy,
it.
they're shitty, but it's not about followers. It's about social proof.
You're right. Yeah,
it's a credibility.
Sure. Yeah, I've been doing it by buying Facebook ads as well. Using credits, but
Yeah, and it's shady, whatever you want to call it.
1,000, 1,500. That's freaking.
Yeah, I was gonna say I was buying Facebook ads.
Yeah.
But it's a nice way just to seed it, get it over 1,000, then go back to the normal way. Posting a lot, good content. I mean, I'm not gonna tell you to get fans, but
It's not a turnoff. It's removing these guys are just like 5 people like them. It's a joke.
I mean, the warning is you could get banned from all these things. So just FYI, you can get banned. But I did it, and I haven't had any problems. So
I did I was on Facebook and saw I Heart Beer on the right hand side, and my hand instinct